What is up, Yu-Gi-Oh players? RelaxedYgoPlayer coming at you guys with a most recent YCS Toronto deck profile of Patrick Hoban, and the deck he played was the Shadal Lightsworn. So we're going to go ahead and get into the deck, go over what cards he played, my opinions on it, and obviously what his thoughts on some of it was, because I do remember watching the profile, seeing what he said. But we'll go ahead and get started. So before we do get started, this deck is based on he wants to get it started as fast as possible. So first turn, he wants to have as many cards that he can use as possible. Instead of having to wait on your opponent, that's the reason why some of these cards are played. But we'll go ahead and start with the monsters. First off, we have 3 Shadal Beasts. Obviously, this card alone, drawing this, not so good. But when this card does get milled, you get to draw that 1 card, which can help out in the long run. The levels don't matter whatsoever. Attack and defense don't matter, but obviously that flip effect, drawing 2, plus being able to mill it, draw 1, awesome card for sure. Next, he played 2 Shadal Dragons. Obviously, it's a good card that gets you to bounce a monster back to the opponent's hand or whatever. Extra deck cards, same as them, they go to extra deck. It's good against Dante and things like that because it spins it to the extra instead of having to pop it with a card or anything. But Dragon, it is a good as well first turn because it's 1900 attack. 0 defense, but sometimes you can just summon this guy into stuff, so it is good with cards, and the level 4 does help a lot. Next, we have 1 Shadal Falco. Pretty much this card, you get to target a Shadal monster in your grave, and special it's a face down defense. Does help when you have the beast, or pretty much any of them, whatever you need. I know it is surprising he just plays just 1. The whole level 2 part being a tuner does help as well with the extra just a tad bit. Nothing crazy, but it does help. Then he has 1 Shadal Hedgehog. Its effect is what it is. Pretty much this card, he did say he was thinking about cutting it completely. He doesn't really like it, but it does help if you need it against a mirror match. So it's good mirror match for sure. Levels don't really matter too much. Then you have the Shadal Somata. Pretty much, this card is another level 4, which does help with the kind of theme of the deck, with what he tries to do with the level 4s and stuff. But obviously, it's another Shadal for that fusion, and it's got a pretty decent effect as well. Then we go on to the Lightsworn. So he does play Lightsworn Shadals with a few other cards, but we'll get to those later. 2 Lilas. Main reason is this card has utility not only in just being able to mill, but it can pop the back row that can be floodgates for the deck. Your opponent may side Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. If they side Light Imprisoning Mirror, that's cool because you have the darks, but this pops that shadow so that you can actually go off. Also is level 4 as well, so this plus another level 4 help out with rank 4 plays. Then you have the Raiden, Hand of the Lightsworn. He's the tuner that's level 4. So pretty much, Raiden plus any of the level 4s equals a level 8 synchro. Him plus a level, well, I guess 2 is not going to matter, but you can go into 7 to Black Rose of Field if you want it with Hedgehog. But Raiden is really good because main phase 1 you can mill the initial 2. You don't have to wait till the end phase, so you could possibly get lucky. As we say, you can get lucky in the game and win. This deck, it is skill, but there are luck bases to it, obviously, with the Lightsworn engine. It just helps you thin the deck so you can get through what you don't need or what you do need. Next off, he plays 2 Chaos Sorcerers. One of the big things that he did bring up, a lot of decks are playing Vanity's Emptiness, and with Chaos Sorcerer, as well as BLS, we might as well throw that in there too. If they don't have Emptiness set or flipped, they are going to wait until you activate Shadal Fusion or something that may special summon. These are inherent, so therefore they just activate and summon right away. So this is less susceptible to that Emptiness. If they already have it active, that is what it is. But if they don't have it active already, Sorcerer, you can just summon it or the BLS. Pretty much you have plenty of lights and darks, so there's no reason not to play these guys. Plus, say a Sorcerer plus the Falco can make a level 8 synchro if you need to. Also, we're going to go ahead and go into the Y-Buster and then the Collapserpent. Pretty much one of the things is he didn't want to play 1 of each because you can mill 1 by chance and the other one would become, or then you would just have a dead dragon in your deck. So these here, they have no utility aside from, obviously, they thin the deck for the second one. So if a dark gets whatever, you get the light and dark get each other. But pretty much these open synchro plays for level 8s with the Raiden, and then this plus the Falco equal Goyo. So pretty much, they do help themselves out. They help you thin the deck and, keep that advantage that you need to win the duel. Next thing we'll go over are the spells. So he plays one Allure just to thin that deck, and you want to get rid of pieces you don't need, keep pieces that you do need. Charge of a Light Brigade, get that random mill, possibly get some Shaddolls, and then you get that Lightsworn. So if your opponent ends up having that Shadow, you get the Searchlight Lila. Also, we have 3 Shadow Fusion, which just makes the deck broke. Obviously, you know what it does. If your opponent controls an extra deck monster, you're going to get your own extra deck monster. So then he plays 3 Soul Charge, which he did mention this is the best card in the game. I could definitely agree with that for sure. This card makes many decks good just because it's one single card. In any particular deck that can use Soul Charge, they definitely get their use out of it for sure. It is better than Monster Reborn by far, in my opinion, as well. You get multiple monsters if you need to. You pay 1,000, but what is that worth? Like, you can get 4 monsters. Yeah, it's worth 4,000. As long as they don't have that bottomless trap hole. Then the next spell he plays was a triple super poly. One of the biggest things he mentioned was, obviously in mirror match it does help, and as well against the Dante and stuff like that, it can help out there as well. Just get their dark, take it. You're gonna summon yourself a construct or a Winda, whichever you need. It really depends on what deck you're playing against, but Super Poly against Light and Dark decks, which are the 2 most prominent decks. So Teller Knights and Shaddolls, and what's the other one? I can't even remember. Oh yeah, the Burning Abyss. But those are the 3 decks there that he was worried about, so Super Poly actually works against all 3. Plus any Light and Dark deck automatically works. Then he plays 3 Patrick Hobans, the Upstart Goblins. So pretty much, just thin the deck. So on to traps. We have 2 Shaddol cores. People were surprised he didn't main deck 3, but with the being that he didn't main as many Shaddol monsters as he could have, he didn't feel the need to play 3, so he cut it down to 2. And then also one of the MVPs, also obviously one of the best cards in the game at the moment as well, Vanity's Emptiness. One of the biggest things he mentioned was that he does play Spark Dragon, so this plus Spark Dragon equals like a mini lock. Pretty much you get to sit there and just stall your opponent out for however long you need to. You can use Emptiness to your advantage by milling your own card if you need to, and then you can just mill your own card, pop Emptiness on your own. But whatever it is from there, Emptiness just stops a lot of those decks. So on to the extra deck. So we have 3 Shaddol Construct. Pretty much just the beater of the deck. He's 2800. It has a Catastrophe effect, and then you have 2 Winda. Now he did mention as well the reason he does not play 3 Winda is because this deck is less of a stun deck and more of a constant bringing stuff to the board. Most decks will summon the Winda and kind of sit there, set the Falco, use Falco again next turn. This deck's more of going as soon as possible. You have the Dragons, you have the BLS Chaos Sorcerer, Raiden. These all are trying to get through the deck and summoning as fast as possible. On to Synchros, he plays Arcanine Magician for the level 7 play to pop some stuff. Black Rose, obviously, for the when you just want to nuke the field. Goyo, because it's Goyo, it's 2800, level 6, steal some monsters. Also, you have Scrap Dragon and Stardust Spark Dragon, so those are pretty good. He does play some rank 4s also because he does play Soul Charge with a bunch of level 4s. But you have the Dweller for the Burning Abyss matchup and whatever else, if you play Morels anymore. And he did play 2 Castel, the Skyblaster Musketeer. No Honor Arc in here, so this is one of the big things he did mention also. If your opponent summons a monster such as Dante, what is Honor Arc going to do against a defense Dante? That's not going to do anything. Castel, it's going to shuffle it back to the extra deck. He has utility against a lot of other decks also, so you can just spin that card to the extra deck. So overall, he did mention that this card was, in this case, in this tournament, a better card, which I can agree with as well. Going against the Burning Abyss, you want to stop those pluses and anything as quick as possible. I only did play one Evil Storm Nightmare, which was a really good tech in my opinion. Myself, I did play Evil Storm for a while, and I did play this card, but let's get past that. But this card pretty much, you summon him to defense mode, he's got a 1950 booty. Pretty much if your opponent special summons, you flip the special summon monster or monsters face down. So say your opponent soul charges, you have Nightmare, they have to try to do something to get past you. You can just, pretty much when they use soul charge, summon 2 monsters, 3 or 4 or whatever, or 1 monster. You just activate his effect, Book of Moon that card. Book of Moon those cards, sorry. And you can use this more than once per turn. So if your opponent tries to go off, you book it. If they don't read his effect, think it's once per turn, they're going to try to do it again. You can just book it all once again. And for the last extra deck card, we have Volcasaurus, just in case you need those rank 5 plays. So that's for the beasts. If you have the beasts engraved, pretty much, you can just soul charge 2 of those back and go for game. On to the side deck. We played 3 Flying Seas. This is good against a lot of really just obscure decks, Burning Abyss, whatever deck that uses extra deck cards. And then he has 2 Rykos, so he has the charge of the Light Brigade works with these. Plus they help you mill, and they can pop problem cards on the field, whether it be monster or spell and trap. Mind Control, he said mainly for the mirror match, because taking their monster, flipping it up, definitely is, apparently that's good, you know. 3 MSTs, which he did mention this card, more or less. He said he did play because he had to, but if there weren't so many Floodgate cards, he would not play MST, period. He says he likes to be able to either, he wants to keep the same amount of cards as the opponent. He doesn't want to waste his own to get rid of one of his opponents. Chain Disappearance for the traps, and he said this card is garbage. He wouldn't play it again, because if you use it against Burning Abyss and you already have one engrave, such as Scarm, this isn't going to get rid of that Scarm engrave, and they can just keep on recycling that via the other Burning Abyss monsters. He played 1 Compulsory just for the random monster removal. 3 Rivalry of Warlords, because this is a really good card as well. They can only control 1 type, so this deck would hurt itself a little against it. I mean, it's not going to kill this deck, but because, I mean, these are spellcasters. These are warriors, obviously. This is spellcaster. All the Shaddolls are spellcasters, so it doesn't help or hurt as much. As well, this is a fairy, this is a spellcaster, so you can still Winda under the rivalry. And for the last card, Shaddol Core. This card pretty much just a random, the next card if you need it. But pretty much that is Patrick Hoban's YCS Toronto Shaddol Lightsworn deck profile, guys. If you have any questions and concerns about the deck, definitely comment down below and let me know what you think of the deck and what you would possibly play over what. I mean, myself, I would just stick with what as it is. I mean, he won with it. Props to Patrick Hoban. But definitely, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, guys. As well, I do want to say thanks for watching the video, and I'll be catching you guys later with some duel videos and pack openings. But this is RelaxedYgoPlayer. Peace.